Good morning, everyone. What a fantastic start we had yesterday to our faculty development program, blending research and practice, enhancing quality teaching in the modern classroom. I hope you're all feeling energized and ready for another day of insightful discussion and learning. It is now my distinct honor to invite our esteemed keynote speaker for day 2 to the stage. We are privileged to have with us Professor Sajjan M., Assistant Professor and Placement Coordinator at Yenepoya Institute of Arts, Science, Commerce and Management. Welcome you, sir. Professor Sajjan M. brings a wealth of experience and expertise that undoubtedly will enrich our understanding of integrating research and practice in the classroom. We are truly honored to have him here. Sir, on behalf of the entire faculty and management, it's our pleasure to present you with this small token of our welcome and appreciation. Now I request Professor Nelson Pereira, HOD of Logistics and Supply Chain Management, to hand over the token of gratitude. Now to formally introduce our keynote speaker and provide us with a deeper insight into his remarkable journey and achievements, I invite Professor Akshata Sampson. Over to you, ma'am.
With over a decade of experience in teaching and corporate training, he has played a key role in shaping young minds and guiding professionals. He has served as a placement officer in leading MBA institutions and has held key positions such as the Head of Learning and Development at 7Edge and Assistant Manager at UAE Exchange and Financial Service Limited. Professor Sajjan M. is a certified MEPSE trainer from NSDC and holds prestigious badges in design thinking from IBM. His expertise extends to AWS Cloud Economics and he has successfully cleared NET from UGC. He is also a lifetime member of the Indian Society for Training and Development and the KM community. A passionate researcher, he has published several papers in national and international seminars and is currently pursuing his PhD in knowledge management. His contribution to education and training include conducting numerous workshops, judging management events, and mentoring aspiring professionals across Dakshina Kannada. Currently, he serves as an assistant professor and placement coordinator at Yenepoya Institute of Arts, Science, Commerce and Management, where he continues to inspire and guide students towards excellence. With great pleasure, I now invite Professor Sajjan M. to deliver the keynote address for today's session on the topic Integrating Industry Practices and Research into Curriculum Design. Sir, the stage is yours.
So very good morning everyone. So first I would like to thank Srinivas University for giving me a platform where I can interact with all of you, and it's a nice experience because I'm a research scholar and I'm doing my research in Srinivas, so I don't think so that it's something, I don't feel like a guest here. I feel like it's my own institution that I'm coming here and delivering. And the most challenging aspect is today is like I'm like you all, like all the same category and same professions, and we're just having, it's not like, I can say that a faculty development program, I must say that, as I'm just sharing my knowledge with you all people, which I have from the corporate. To begin with, today I'll be talking about the major gap which I identified that the institution, especially that in teaching, we need to look after. In 2016, 2014 I was working for a corporate called Unimoney. Basically, I was doing the foreign exchange transactions. In 2016, I had come into my teaching field. Probably everybody will come to the teaching with one or other purpose. Some may be as a profession, some may be as a passion. For me, the passion of my teaching has made me to quit corporate and get into the teaching. And I came with the teaching with the one thought, that whatever I am delivering to the student, it has to be realistic. Because I used to teach for MCOM as well as the MBA, and I always think that whatever we teach to the student, it has to be exactly the same in the corporate, what is there in the market. And maybe there are a lot of purpose of teaching. It could be like we are building a nation or we giving the good output, but my purpose was very simple, that I am making my students to fit for the profession. For example, I must say that if I am teaching for an MBA students, and whatever I teach, for example, it could be for a HR, I want them to be a good HR. I always love to make a bridge between the gap, whatever we say that, the corporate and teaching. So I always say that I am preparing you for the professions, and I exactly give the same content what is there in the corporate. But over the period, I have changed myself as a trainer and a placement. And up to 2019 or 2020, the COVID, everything was good. But the post-COVID, in terms of the teaching, in terms of the placement, I can see a lot of changes is happening, right? And so-called, the Gen Z, what we are calling now, is become vulnerable for us because their thought process is changed, and the way they learn is getting changed. And in the company also we face a lot of issues. Now I work as a placement officer, and whenever I go to a company and whenever I request the company like please come to our college for the placement, and after the interaction I ask one simple question to them. Sir, what did you suggest our student and what are your expectations from our college in terms of the post-graduations? The most common answer I get is, sir, I'll ask you only two things. Forget about a knowledge, forget about a skill. That we can also calculate. But please teach your students the basic etiquette, the basic manners. The most important aspect is the right attitude. I still see whenever the students are coming for the interview, they come with the Crocs and chappal. Don't you teach your student that to wear a professional attire? It's like a slap for me. Yes. Even after telling 100 times, they don't know how to send a resume. They don't know how to send a mail. So we are in a stage. It's not only the skills and knowledge, making a youth to have a right attitude and professionalism is also more important. And trust me, it will not happen overnight. Until or unless you practice every day, and you are making very strict to the students that you should not come with this. I'm not going to accept your this behavior. I'm not going to accept your this attire. It will not work. And this is the most aspect. Like you go to any company, you ask if you want to have an interaction, please have interaction with the recruiter. They say the same thing. And we call that as digital era, chat GPT, right? Everything we say about it. But still, if you look into the Gen Z, the most of the companies are not happy with the Gen Z. They can't do a multitasking like this. A lot of good terms has come, stress, burnout, right? They can't do a multitasking like this. They don't want to have a managerial positions because they feel like it's very difficult and it is more stressful. And they expect the flexibility, work from home, the timings, that is, and everything. They can't be very much committed. The most important aspect is the Gen Z attrition rate is quite high. They don't stick to an organization for more, all the period goes on switching the job. And the most important issue we have is their emotional intelligence. This is one of the beautiful articles which I read in the garden, specifically says that Gen Z and the future. So the most important aspect for us as a teacher, right? If we are producing the Gen Z to the market, understanding what exactly the corporate requires and procuring it is the most essential aspect for us, what I believe. So in my journey as a learning and development executive in a 7 years, almost for the 2 years, has made me to understand a little bit about it. And today is almost for the 2 hours, I'll be discussing that with you people. And please ensure that it is not a talk or something like that. I'm just having interaction with you all people. Let's learn and let's discuss together. I hope I have given an expectation set up over here. The first and foremost things which I would like to mention. Do I have slides? Okay, can we go with this? Okay. I'm going to give you some interesting facts about the employability as well as the market. See, the first point is like only 46% of Indian graduates are employable according to the Indian Skills Report of 2024 by the V-Books and CII. Where does the rest 50% goes? Why they are not employable? It's a very good question, and the industry gives a n number of reasons. The key gaps include critical thinking, problem solving, the communication and digital fluence. And I'm very sorry to use these two words, like though we are in this generation, students are having a problem with the communications. What is our role to improve this? How can we improve the communications? You trust me, the students could be from English medium. That's not a matter at all. The moment when they come for the PG, the basic thing is like companies definitely not want to spend anything on the communications. But still, I as a placement officer, I get a lot of mails by saying that your students got rejected because of the major issues of communications. Tell me, as a placement officer, what I can do with the communications. I can do it as a workshop. It's not a matter. Why today's generations lacks communications? The most important is the digital fluency. You ask the students to do something in the mobile phones, they know each and everything about it. But if you ask them to use the laptop, it is not there. I'm really sorry to say that this, like as an L&D executive, when I was working in the companies, we hire engineers, and we call them the software engineers. And the most important problem is what we identified the software engineers still is like their typing speed. Being a software engineer, still one hand goes here, another hand goes on the keyboard. Whenever you type, your eyes has to be on the monitor and the hands has to be there. And I'm not expecting from the non-technical, but I'm expecting this from the software engineers. One hand, these, S, the P. I was like, kya ho raha hai idhar? You're a software engineer. And trust me, after that we use the gamification method. There is one particular application called typing speed, and also there is called Mikey typing speed is there. It is like a Candy Crush game. You have to create an enroll to this. It's a free. Then it will teach you that how you are supposed to keep your fingers on the keyboard, and it will make a practice. It has almost 600 levels. We told that all the trainees, almost we had 120 trainees, we did compulsory that it's okay during your working hours you practice. And weekly we are going to assess. Some extent, the one who is to have a 30 letters per hour, the speed, some extent we are able to make it like a 60. So I'm telling you, please in the classroom, make student to use the digital tool. Please, maybe like yesterday's announcement might be already covered about using Google Workspace. It could be like doc or a sheet, whatever. It is a basic. But make sure that students are using emails. Now what I do here is like in my college, like whenever they send anything, I say that you mail me. I said mail. Don't want WhatsApp, you mail me. And whatever the feedback I want to give them is I will give in reply to all. And the day one the HOD or my the official asked me that did you inform? Did you, inform to them? What is the response? Did you follow? My simple documentation is the mail thread, right? I will take a print and I will copy it and make it as a documentation. From the beginning till now, whatever the conversation happened is recorded. So one extent for me is also the safer side. I can say that I have a documentation because we have a lot of projects. The students are almost for 3 months go for the project, and every week we should have an interactions. So I ask them to mail. You send me a subject. If any correction is required, I'll reply to it. I just want students to make a practice of using email, sending emails, right? Most important aspect is like using Google Calendar. Are we using Google Calendars? I hope everyone knows like scheduling, accepting. And the most important aspect, I will tell you that in the corporate, the most important thing, sometimes we schedule a meeting in summer. For example, let's take into consider that Sagar sir has scheduled a meeting with me for 1 o'clock today. Thing is like, whenever you schedule Google Calendar meet, below to that we have 3 options. Are you going yes, no, or maybe? I got a warning message, or I can say that's a positive feedback from my manager that one of the basic etiquette of a corporate is like whenever anybody schedule a meeting, you need to reply either it is yes, no, or maybe. It's a madness, he said. I was shocked. Is it small aspect matters? Yes. The moment when you receive, are you sure that you are going meeting? Make sure that it is a yes. If it is no, or you are having 50-50, make sure that it is a maybe. I'm telling you, all this practice, and using, the Google Chat, Google Calendar, spreadsheet, literally has made our work smarter. And I'm doing the same thing with my students so that some extent they should not have any issues by using this when they get into the corporate. Because in corporate, I know really well, almost all our conversation happens in a mail, as well as a Google Chat and calendars, attending meetings and everything. And the basic manners or the basic things about the Zoom meeting, let's take into consideration the Zoom meeting. If there are 5 people sitting in the room, everybody having a meeting in a conference hall, no one's supposed to, or you have an option to off your camera. But even if the one person is outside and the 4 people are sitting here, compulsory you are supposed to on the camera. It is a basic sense. Right? As well as the basic manners of or the etiquettes of Zoom or any other e-platforms. So my sincere request for all of us, let us learn this as well as please practice of all these digital aspects in the curriculum as well as the course itself so that we are preparing them for the future. So trust me, digital fluency and communication, I don't know how, if there is a placement officers here, we have a severe issue with this. Severe issues with it. The next one, when it comes to hard skills, that is AI, analytics, automation tools, as well as the soft skills, that is leadership and adaptability, are rarely taught in Thailand. I'm telling you, soft skills is the biggest issue. I don't know, when I was to take this as a profession, like I want to be soft skills, when I used to hit myself, soft skill, who will be having a demand in the future? But I'm surprised to see that we have an issue with the soft skills. Trust me. It could be communication, it could be leadership, it's all outdated, or I can say that this topic we are discussing for ages, but still the students lacking this. Now the courses rarely reflect emerging roles. Maybe I have used the technical UX designer, sustainability officer, data analyst, some extent of the companies, rather than software engineers, now we have AI engineers. The rules has been changed. There was a time like we had HR recruiter, human resource development. No, now we have talent success, we have a talent development, right? The roles are getting changed, right? The designations are getting changed, and some extent as an institution, we should know that okay, these are the positions I am just preparing for. I'm going to give you one aspects most of the curriculum, some extent, we are least. I can't say that they're least bothered. The thing is like we need to re-look into these aspects. For example, let's take into consider the person who's studying the logistic and supply chain management in MBA. I always ask the students like, what you really wanted to be? Sir, logistic. Okay, what are the career options are in the logistic? So logistics, sir. Tell me, what are the job roles are there? And some students, I can say that in graduation they do BCom and BBM, and then when they come through for MBA in data analytics and they learn in Python. What happens in the market is like, if you want to have the MBA data analytics, right, as a core subject, right, so your base is commerce and you are learning Python and you are not good at Python, then what is the market? Understand this? Some extent, having a clarity that what I really want to be. Okay, these are the roles that I am preparing for these and these are the skills we are expecting. Some extent the students are not having a clarity. And whether those courses are having a demand in the market, are we preparing them, are we giving all those certifications is also a question mark. So please ensure that we are aligned with these. I'm going to give you a shocking, maybe it's not a shocking for you people, maybe for me it's a shocking. The thing is like, nowadays one trend is happening, or a debate is happening all over the world regarding AI, is most of the software companies don't want to hire freshers. Anybody, what could be the reason? They don't want to hire the freshers. Managing stress, yes. The reason what they quote is, we want to hire middle-level developers, not the fresher, because whatever the features the freshers are having, I can get it from AI. You are doing the basic one, the AI does it. For example, coding, right? Coding is a bigger task. Coding, right? And we used to, I don't know, the 3 years back, we used to make the students to write the code. We write the code, forget about it. And now things like this, AI does the coding like this. And we don't want a person to code because AI does it. So why I need to hire a fresher? This debate is happening. A lot of good thing, a lot of bad thing. I'm just making a statement because my company where we used to work, they follow this policy called no freshers. It's like, sir, what are you doing? Just because of this. Some extent, we need to seriously think about it. The next aspects, there is a lack of interdisciplinary and project-based learning. I'm going to talk about the project-based learning later. Quickly, I'll go to it. Many graduates lack confidence in English fluency, report writing and public speaking, absolutely we discussed. Virtual communication skills like email, Zoom etiquette are also very weak. AI could eliminate up to 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs within the next 5 years. Trust me, it's not only in paper, it is happening. There was a time like we had a software engineer in back-end, front-end, tester. No, nothing like that. It is a software engineer. You should do a front-end, you should do a back-end, you should do a content, you should do a UX design. Have you all heard about the T-shaped learning, T-shaped learning, pie-shaped learning? Have you all heard about it? No? Okay, we'll discuss about that too. I'm going to connect that. The next most important, yes, that I can skip it at this moment. Expert advocates for the development of durable skills such as critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence, areas where AI currently lack proficiency. See, I was just prompting out like, I was watching a lot of videos. What could be the trend for the the future, and where is AI replaces human beings? Then I just want to identify that what is the weakness of AI, where human expertise is more, and it clearly says that when it comes to critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence, still the AI is evolving. Maybe that's why, mark this word, AI will never replace us human beings. But AI and human beings has to work together, it is a reality. And if I ask my student, the normal stuff is like, I don't want my student to write an assignments. I say that don't write. But sometimes either you make somebody else to write and you submit. That is why I say that you please type and give me, at least they have a, the typing, the habits. But what students do? They just go to ChatGPT and they submit an assignment. It's happening everywhere. And I said that, okay, do one thing. You get me a plagiarism score of your assignment. It has to be 8% or below 5%. Trust me, the student also does it. Trust me, if you want to have a 0% plagiarism and humanizer aspects in your AI, one prompt is enough. I don't want to say that prompt, but that one prompt is enough. It could be thesis, it could be anything, any type of stuff. Go for any platform and check. Plagiarism 0 and AI content also will be 0. So, if you know to use AI and if you know to do a proper brand, nothing can be validated. It's all about the prompt engineering. And I'll just get back to the next one. Individuals in creative fields like including journalism, illustrations and voice acting have reported for job losses due to AI technologies replicating their work. For instance, a Polish journalist was replaced by AI avatars and an Indonesian illustrator saw commissions dwindle as AI tool mimicked her style. You know really well that especially when it comes to journals, now AI is reading the news and everything is happening, and this is the future, my dear friends. The now most important, the graduates are not trained in corporate etiquette, time management and cross-functional collaborations. Before getting into this, do we encourage our students to use LinkedIn is the questions. Anyone, now, the resume we build, it is now ATS enabled. ATS, application tracking system. Right? So, nowadays what happens is wherever I go, rather than crafting the resume, I teach them to make their resumes ATS enabled. Because nowadays, the most of the hiring happens through the portals, LinkedIn as well as the different digital platforms. And trust me, the selection of the resume happens with the ATS course, application tracking system. Please, whenever we teach, whenever we are scrutinizing the student's resume, tell them make your ATS score at least 70%. And there is one portal, you can use it like a www.jobscan.com. For you also you can, test it. Once for example, let's take into consider that if I am applying for EG India as a learning and development executive. So EG India will be having a job description. Okay? Everyone knows, right? Job descriptions. In the job description, they mention that they want to have a person who has 10 years of experience, the one who knows about instructional design, the one who is good in communication, good in team building, good in cross-functional collaborations, whatever. So I have to copy those job description in the left side of it. Right side, please upload your resume. And the platform says that what is the percentage of you are matching up with this particular profile. And if your score is 50%, trust me, you will not get an interview call. Because it clearly says that your resume is matching. If your score is above 70 or 80%, maybe you will get a call. 90% pakka you will get a call. So as a recruiter, what I do? I go to LinkedIn, I search. This is my job description, I want a candidate. So the moment when I put that, it says that sourcing all the profiles. See, these are the 15 profiles which is matching with your job portal, which has a 90% of matching. So recruiter, what they will do? They only take those 15 resumes for the call. Are you with me? So please teach students about it. What I do, right, I made my all the students to be ATS enabled for two reasons. If I fail sometimes as a placement manager, students will get a call. Why? Because their resume is ATS enabled. If they want to search anywhere, definitely their profile will be getting matched. So, how to make this the ATS enabled? One simple aspect, you have to use a keyword. For example, let's be taken to consider that I know the knowledge of taxation is a sentence. I know the knowledge of taxation. Instead of writing this in my resume, what I will do is like, I know the knowledge of taxation, especially in TDS, VAT, GST filing. So I am pitching 3 keywords to the company. So what happens? I give 3 keywords. So if any job description which is searching for TDS, GST, tax filing, my resume will match into that. So please use keywords. For us also, as well as for the student also. Please do that. So my point over here is that I'm telling you that the way the recruitment is happening, the way the corporate is hiring is changing, and we should enable our students to go through it. So when it comes to corporate etiquette, please ensure that we understand the etiquette of the corporate. For example, especially for an MBA, the dressing or a grooming does really matters. Yes, in ITs and all, they encourage the casuals, but even it has to be like decent casuals. You should not have a boardings over here. You should have a much of logos over here. And none of the companies, when it comes to the when it comes to the hiring, they will not entertain a person who's wearing the chappals to the corporates. Make sure habit of like MBA grooming has to be proper. Blazer, could be tie, could be shoes and everything. And I always say to students like, please speak. If somebody comes, say hi, hello. If any speakers comes, please interact with them. Follow them in LinkedIn. Interact with them. That's how it has to be. Right? And this I don't know that we have come to the stage at which we need to teach all the basic things to the student also, but corporate etiquette is missing among the higher education students. The expectation of the students are, it's going high. Many students expect quick success without consistent effort, mindset reinforced by an instant gratification culture from social media. Now, I'll just go with the next slide over here. Let's discuss this rather than going the one way. As a teacher, right? Many are here from many years, could be 1 or 2, 10 years could be. What are the challenges we face as a teacher from Gen Z? Can we have a small discussion on this? What do you think like the Gen Z is missing? The Gen Z is very much aggressive. You cannot say anything. Your presentation is, I'm not happy with the presentation. It could have been done like that. Done. They never look at your face. They don't take your feedback. Right? Absolutely. What else? Concentrations. There is a method called Pomodoro. Do you know the Pomodoro method? Pomodoro is one of the learning methods for us also.